Well, here's a big macroeconomic story of the day. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has slashed India's growth forecast by 1 percentage point to 6.6% for 2016-2017 from its earlier projection on the back of the government's demonetisation move. In its latest World Economic Outlook report, the IMF says that global growth will rise to 3.4% in 2017. At the back of the proposed Trump stimulus package, IMF has also upgraded the US outlook but downgraded emerging economies. Ritu Singh is here with the highlights of that report. Ritu, fill us in.
Well, India is no longer the shining spot on the global map. That's the word according to the International Monetary Fund's latest World Economic Outlook report, where it has slashed India's GDP growth expectation for this fiscal to 6.6% from their earlier projection of 7.6%. That's a huge 1 percentage point downward bias to their growth forecast. In fact, for the next year, they project a growth of 7.2% and the year after of 7.7% for India, much lower than both the RBI and CSI data seems to suggest. Clearly, the impact of demonetisation much higher, according to IMF, than what the government has so far led us on. It says the cash-induced shortage, which has led to some temporary negative impact on consumption, will only be short-lived, but it will play out in terms of the negative repercussions on GDP only for the next couple of years, after which normalcy will return. But other than that, global world economy seems to be moving along just fine. The second half of 2016 seems to have performed better, on the basis of which they've maintained their GDP growth forecast for this year at 3.1%, 3.4% for 2017 and 3.6% for 2018. Advanced economies led by the US are expected to grow at 1.6%, a very slow figure for 2016, 1.9% the year after and 2% in 2018. But it is the emerging markets that will again continue to drive growth. 2016 they're expected to grow by 4.1%, 2017 by 4.5% and 4.8% the year after. So these are some of the numbers given out by IMF. Good news for the global economy, but for India, well, some tough times await.
Earlier projection from October that world growth will pick up from last year's lackluster pace in 2017 and 2018, therefore looks increasingly likely to be realized. At the same time, we see a wider dispersion of risks to this short-term forecast, with those risks still tilted to the downside. Uncertainty has risen. Our central projection is that global growth will rise to a rate of 3.4% in 2017 and 3.6% in 2018.